Good morning. Welcome back to the Red Mic. Happy Thursday. I'm glad you're here. These Red Mic messages are leadership and life lessons picked up from 25 years as a public servant, 16 years as a youth football coach and scouting volunteer, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. Before I get started today, I got to complain about Facebook again. Every day it's something. I'm telling you, I may have to go to some other live platform and then just upload to Facebook later because the glitches are just bugging me. Okay, rant over. Today's Red Mic message. It is. Where's the title? I've got my stuff in front of me, but I don't have the title. You know what? Heck with it. It's just the glitch threw me this morning. Looking beyond the stat line. There's nothing wrong with cheering your kid when they hit a double, make a great play at shortstop, get a one in a UIL competition, any of that. But don't forget the hard work, the grit, the guts, everything that got them to that point. That means the early morning stretches, the early morning workouts, the going out when you don't feel like it, the bouncing back after a bad loss or a failure, the grind, especially when nobody's watching. Because stat lines fade. Work ethic, well, it's going to last them their whole life. There's a researcher named Carol Dweck. She looked into what she called growth mindset, and her whole idea was that the way that we praise kids shapes their motivation. If we praise their effort, their strategy, and their persistence, you're going to reinforce the belief in their head that growth is possible. If you only focus on results or you only focus on the innate ability, the talent, you are in danger of building a sort of a fragile confidence that can get knocked down too easily and a fear of failure. Um, so praise their effort, not their stat line. Uh, the positive coaching folks said celebrate their growth, not just their success. That's how you raise athletes who love the game and themselves. Now, my own kids, they're wired completely differently. My older one stretched themselves, particularly in the arts, choir, drama, first chair violin. I wish they'd pick the violin back up. They haven't touched violin since middle school because, you know, Texas Ed doesn't give you enough room to take all the, fluff classes you need. Anyway, they were also an Eagle Scout, so the passion was there. It was all about mastering the craft. They ended up majoring in musical theater. So now the younger one, from the beginning, he was always about the scoreboard. Always. He was 6 playing t-ball, and they didn't technically keep score. And I've told this story before. I apologize. I've been doing these for more than a year. Um, some of these anecdotes might end up stepping on each other. So if I've said this before, I apologize. I try to be original every day, but stuff happens. Anyway, he was 6. He was playing t-ball, and this league, they didn't technically keep score during t-ball, but he and his teammates, they definitely kept score because the way it was laid out, if you were on defense and you got 3 outs, well, the other team was done. They didn't get to bat anymore. If you were on offense and you scored 5 runs, then you were done and the other team got to bat. So the kids, they would either be counting to 3 or they'd be counting to 5. Well, this team he was on, they were really good. I mean, for t-ball, it was amazing the amount of talent this team had. I mean, they even got a triple play in one inning. And they almost always got their 5 runs, almost always. So they were good. And a lot of people expected them to. Oh, I didn't add this. There's a postseason tournament where it's the only time they do keep score. They want to, have a, T-ball champion, right? Daniel's team, everybody expected them to do really well, if not win the whole dang thing. Well, in their first tournament game, they lost. A team who I think ended up winning everything beat them. And didn't beat them by much, a run or two. So after the game, I'm doing the Mr. Cunningham, patting Richie on the back, well, you did a great job, son. I was praising the effort. I said, you guys worked hard, you learned a lot. Oh, and by the way, there's thunderstorms in Austin, so if all of a sudden this goes dead, you'll know why. But anyway, I was congratulating him. Man, you guys had a great season. You learned a lot. You worked hard. I'm proud of you. He got this really not angry, but sort of puzzled look on his face with maybe a little bit of derision mixed in with it. He looked at me and he was dead serious and he said, "They kept score today, Dad. It mattered." And in my head, I'm thinking, "You're 6. Where did where did this competitiveness come from?" But he's always been like that. He's told me this more than once, in complete sincerity, that second place is the first loser. Now, his mom and I didn't teach him that. I mean, we taught him to be competitive, but he turns it up to 11, and he still does. I mean, I told you the story about him hitting golf balls out in our yard. I mean, that's just the way he's wired. So you raise them how you can, but sometimes the wiring's going to take over too. So what do? You coach what matters: effort, growth, resilience. You teach them to try to stretch themselves, push themselves as much as they can, not just for their own personal stat line, but for growth beyond the stat line, beyond the game. Every athlete knows at some point they're going to have to hang up the cleats. And you have to have more left in the tank than just, the sweat that's drying on your brow because the game's over. So apply this throughout your life. Yes, personal growth is important. Personal accomplishments are great, but make sure you get the staying power. So again, stretch, not just for the stat line, but for yourselves. And that's today's Red Mike message. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you're able to put some of this in place in your own life. So again, remember, praise the devil, but more importantly, praise the grit. Because growth mindset starts by celebrating the effort, not just the outcomes. Raise kids and team members who stretch for themselves. I appreciate you being here. I'll see you again tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow's #Fun Friday. I'm going to make fun of a salesman who just will not take no for an answer. He's still selling me. It's 2 days later. He's still in the comments saying, "Well, hey, what about this?" I am going to make a lot of fun of him tomorrow. I'm not going to mention him by name, but yikes. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Don't forget, life is short. Drink the bourbon.